From hidden castle passages to mysterious disappearances, medieval kings mastered the art of vanishing. These royal escape stories blur the line between historical fact and legend, leaving us wondering, did these rulers actually die, or did they pull off history's greatest disappearing acts? The fate of King Harold II after the Battle of Hastings in 1066 remains one of history's most debated mysteries. While most history books tell us he died from an arrow to the eye, some fascinating evidence suggests he might have escaped. Two ancient texts mention a wounded English warrior who lived as a hermit for many years after the battle. He was said to have terrible scars on his face and called himself Christian, but some people believe this mysterious hermit was actually Harold in hiding. Even more interesting, Harold's wife, Edith, when asked to identify his body after the battle, could only recognize it by special marks that only she knew about. This has led some historians to wonder if the body was really Harold's, or if the last Anglo-Saxon king managed to slip away in the chaos of battle. When Edward IV found himself cornered at Windsor Castle in 1471, he used a network of secret underground passages to make an amazing escape. These hidden tunnels, built deep beneath the castle walls, were part of a detailed escape system that medieval kings used in emergencies. Edward's enemies, led by the Earl of Warwick, thought they had the king trapped. But Edward knew something they didn't: the location of a concealed tunnel entrance in his private chambers. Under the cover of darkness, Edward and a small group of trusted men slipped into these passages, which led them safely outside the castle walls. The tunnel system was so well designed that Edward's enemies spent days searching the castle, not realizing their target was already miles away. This escape changed the course of the War of the Roses, giving Edward time to gather his forces and eventually win back his throne. The story of Louis XVI, the young son of Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI, is one of the most fascinating mysteries of the French Revolution. After his parents were executed, the 8-year-old boy was locked in Paris's Temple prison. Official records say he died there in 1795, but rumors spread that supporters had smuggled him out. The official story claimed he died from poor conditions, but over 100 people later came forward claiming to be the lost prince. The most famous was Karl Wilhelm Naundorf, who knew so many details about the royal family that even Marie Antoinette's surviving daughter wondered if he might be her brother. In 1846, when they dug up a child's body from where Louis XVII was supposedly buried, it belonged to someone much older than 10, adding fuel to the escape theory. The disappearance of Sebastian of Portugal in 1578 sparked one of history's most remarkable missing person cases. During a bold but poorly planned battle in Morocco, the 24-year-old king led his army into what became a total disaster. As Portuguese forces clashed with Moorish defenders at Alcarca-Quibir, chaos erupted on the battlefield. Some witnesses said they saw Sebastian charging straight into enemy lines, while others claimed he was trying to retreat. When the dust settled, no one could find the king's body. This kicked off centuries of speculation. Did Sebastian die in battle, or did he somehow escape? Several men later showed up claiming to be the missing king, and many Portuguese people refused to believe he was dead. They called themselves Sebastianists, hoping their young king would return one day to restore Portugal's glory. The mystery was so powerful that it shaped Portuguese culture for generations. Emperor Sigismund's escape from Prague Castle in 1420 shows just how useful secret passages could be for medieval rulers. When angry followers of Jan Hus surrounded the castle, Sigismund found himself in serious trouble. But Prague Castle had an amazing network of underground tunnels originally built to move supplies and connect different parts of the huge complex. According to records from that time, Sigismund used these hidden routes to dodge the mob that wanted him dead. He and a few trusted guards snuck through narrow stone corridors that wound beneath the castle's main buildings. While the protesters searched above, Sigismund made his way to a secret exit near the Vltava River. From there, he took a waiting boat and sailed to safety. The passages he used still exist today, though most are closed to protect the castle's structure. The traditional story tells us Richard III died fighting at Bosworth Field in 1485, but some historians have found details that make them question this version. While most accounts say Richard died in battle, several medieval records suggest he might have escaped. A group of loyal supporters was reportedly ready with fresh horses near the battlefield's edge. Some local stories tell of a wounded knight who fled through Leicester's old tunnels that night. What's really interesting is that when Henry Tudor displayed a body he claimed was Richard's, many people noted it didn't have Richard's famous curved spine. The first burial site was also kept secret, which was unusual for a king. These odd details have led some researchers to wonder if Richard staged his death, letting him slip away while everyone thought he'd fallen in battle. The story of Charles II's escape after losing the Battle of Worcester in 1651 shows just how handy secret hiding spots could be. When Parliament's forces were closing in, Charles found safety in a clever hideout called a priest hole at Boscobel House. These hidden chambers were originally built to protect Catholic priests during times when their religion was banned. The one Charles used was barely bigger than a closet, tucked behind wooden panels in the house's walls. For a full day, Charles squeezed into this tiny space while soldiers searched every room, even stabbing their swords into walls trying to find him. The king could hear their footsteps and voices just inches away. After the soldiers left, Charles made his getaway dressed as a servant, starting a 6-week journey that would take him safely to France. The story of Frederick Barbarossa's death seems simple at first. The Holy Roman Emperor drowned while crossing a river during the Third Crusade. But some medieval sources tell a different tale. Several accounts from the time mention that no one actually saw the emperor's body in the water. Even more curious, 3 different towns in Germany claim to have his burial site. Some local stories suggested Barbarossa used the chaos of the river crossing to fake his death and escape the pressures of ruling. Strange reports emerged of an elderly monk who appeared in a German monastery years later, matching Barbarossa's description and knowing details only the emperor would know. While most historians accept the drowning story, these alternative accounts have kept people wondering about what really happened at the Salif River that day. Robert the Bruce's ability to disappear into Scotland's caves shows how well medieval rulers could use nature to their advantage. While hiding from English forces in 1306, he found perfect cover in Scotland's vast cave networks. The most famous was a sea cave on Rathlin Island, where Bruce watched a spider try again and again to build its web, inspiring him to keep fighting. But he also used many other caves across Scotland, including ones near Dunaverty Castle and in Argyll. Local people kept his locations secret, helping him move between these hidden spots. The caves were perfect hiding places, hard to find, easy to defend, and often connected to secret escape routes. Bruce's enemies would come close to catching him, but he'd seem to vanish into thin air, thanks to his detailed knowledge of these underground hideouts. The disappearance of young Arthur of Brittany in 1203 remains one of medieval England's darkest mysteries. As the teenage heir to the throne, Arthur posed a serious threat to his uncle, King John. While held prisoner in Rouen Castle, Arthur suddenly vanished without a trace. The most common story says John killed him, but no body was ever found. Some medieval writers claimed Arthur escaped with help from sympathetic guards. French records mention sightings of a young man matching Arthur's description in Brittany years later. The mystery deepened when several nobles said they received secret messages from someone claiming to be the missing prince. While we may never know Arthur's true fate, his disappearance changed English history. Many nobles turned against John, helping to set the stage for the Magna Carta. Thanks for joining us on this journey through history's most mysterious royal disappearances. If you enjoyed unraveling these medieval mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow history fans. See you in our next historical adventure.